Hi there.
Hey.
We're back again. Hopefully, it sounds better. If not, we might just have to live with it. No, this is the fun part about running a studio that does a lot of live productions. Things just happen, and between getting from A to Z, we always try to figure out what's going on, but hopefully
it sounds good.
better.
Excellent.
Oh, cool. So that's all we had to do was literally kill the stream and then start it up again.
Welcome to Comics and Coffee, presented by Huck, the dog.
Sometimes technology is very, very frustrating because the fact that you have to turn something off and on again for it to just work better is really stupid.
Yeah, man.
In any case, Matt's here, Huck is here, we've got coffee, we've got comics, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. We've got this delicious smelling candle.
I love it. It is so fall
It's like
and earthy and
I forget what flavor it is.
apple something?
Sure, we'll go with that.
Apple harvest. We'll say
I'll show you an apple harvest.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I was saying, I've been offline on YouTube for a couple weeks because we've had weddings and a whole bunch of other stuff. We premiered a new show last night called Post Ghost, a really, really fun, engaging, interactive show where you, the audience, can help sort of dictate the decisions of how the show progresses forward. It was really, really fun.
It was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, the whole crew did an amazing job. Everything that Brandon and Lucas came up with and the whole cast that they put together for that show was great. It was pretty much like live improv for 2 hours with some things that were pre-recorded to help with the spookies of the show.
It was like, if you
great.
saw the Halloween thing we did last year, it was like that amplified, you know?
Yeah. Really, really fun. That's going to be for 3 weeks. So this was week 1, and then we've got 2 more weeks of it. And I hope that you guys watch it on Twitch and check it out because we really want to do more stuff like that. And we talk about doing more choose your own adventure type of things because we have the ability to do that with all the tech that we have access to.
That's right.
And we want to continue sort of pushing the boundaries of what we can do, not just on Twitch, but also on YouTube as well.
Yeah, and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to tune in live to watch that so you can be a part of the vote, influence the story, influence the scares. It's real fun. So, yeah, man. Yeah. But we got some comics today. We got some stuff going on.
Oh, well.
And Zach, when you're ready, I got your copy right there. So don't forget that.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I think you should have got him a double venti triple stacked.
I was like a hair
brew.
late, man. I was like a hair late, you know. I was bringing it upstairs. I was like Troy Barnes when he walked in with pizza in the different timeline episode of Community. Did you ever see that? Did you watch Community?
I watched very select episodes of that show.
People are saying the audio is messed up. Did you notice that?
Again? We went offline and we came back up and they said it was better.
Okay, then it's YouTube chat. Crackle, crackle, pop, and snap.
Oh, that's old. That hasn't moved.
That's old?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you had to go offline and back up, so it was a restream issue?
We literally had to like turn off and turn on again just to fix the audio. I know.
Have you smelled this candle?
Zach is slowly internally dying. Quicker than he was before.
Fixed the issue downstairs, but
What was that?
I don't even want to tell you.
Something unplugged?
I don't even want to say it.
Okay.
It's going to make me lose my shit.
Oh no! Was it something I did?
No, it was something that was done months ago.
Oh, okay.
Which tells you how long that system down there
Has been doing that probably?
and how much harm we've done to our very expensive computer that I will most likely now have to replace. Big fan of dumb things happening.
Well, man,
Kaiju.
Good seeing you.
What'd I do? What did I do?
good seeing you.
Well, welcome to the show.
Do you remember how long ago it was when we had an employee decide they wanted to reinstall Windows to start fresh?
Oh no.
But then they didn't install all of the corresponding hardware, software kind of drivers and tools that communicate back and forth.
So it's a mess. A little bit.
One very important thing, if you have smart fan control turned on in your BIOS, but you don't have the smart fan control device installed on your desktop, there was nothing telling the fan that the CPU was overheating that it needed to turn on. So the reason you were blue screening all the time is because the computer was overheating. And the RAM was actually hot to touch, and it was actually causing the RAM to shut down the computer. The CPU seemed to be holding it together, but the RAM was getting so hot that it was erroring out. We probably ruined that RAM. So basically, your CPU fan, which was your exhaust fan, wasn't turned on. And by going into the BIOS and forcing it to be on and not using the software connected part that was never installed.
Is that why that computer lights up red? Like, you know, the lights inside of the... Is that why, or are those lights just...
I think that was just the RGB.
Oh, okay. Because sometimes it will go from green to yellow to red, and I'm like, is this something I should be worried about or not? But then it would be red and it'd be fine, and go back to green. I'm like, all right, I'm assuming Zach just decorated our computer.
No, I didn't decorate shit.
No, it's just the
Well...
rainbow funsies of those RGB computers.
So that happened right before we were supposed to go live, and I was like, here, it's been a while since I got to do a normal episode of Comics and Coffee with you guys.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, yeah, we're going to do that. It's going to happen.
I didn't even know you went downstairs. I was up here and I was like, I looked at the time, I'm like, oh, it's 5:01, we should go live. And Matt's like, your computer, I guess, blue screen downstairs. I'm like, oh my
So here's
God.
my next question.
Mm-hmm.
Is that chat moving for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a problem with this chat.
Oh my God. Can you just like, will it just refresh?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the old chat because we had to go.
You had to go offline and back up again? Cool. Let me,
I'm gonna update the title. Is that okay? On the Twitch side?
Oh, the Twitch title's not updated.
Okay. Can I update?
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm about to give up on today.
Hey, last night was great, guys.
Yeah, last
night was freaking awesome.
Last night,
Oh, man.
how was a more complicated show like Post Coast easier to do than this? I don't understand how the world works.
Well,
Sometimes.
dual streaming always causes issues, which was also, we were,
Look, we'll get through it one way or another. But I'm super excited to talk about. I feel like there's a whole mess of things to talk about because before all this happened, I was saying I haven't done an episode of Hyper Heroes in 2 weeks. We did our Titans podcast, but there's been so much stuff that's come out since then.
Yeah.
That makes me super excited. I'm very convinced that Crisis on Infinite Earths will give me a heart attack when it comes out.
I can't wait. I'm so happy that I've been like keeping up with everything.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it feels like a reward,
I know,
It does feel like a chore with some of these CWs.
It does, it
You know what I
does.
mean? But I'm excited for Crisis.
Yeah.
Oh.
What? What?
yeah. Oh, that was weird.
Look, it's all weird. Yeah. I feel like every week there's like issues with the YouTube live streaming because they changed it, and I'm like, why didn't you just leave it the way it was? It was so easy. You went to a tab and it just was live. But yeah, I need to do that because I've been doing that with Titans, and it's made me very like invested in the show and the characters and what's happening. I haven't been doing that for the CW stuff, and I know that Supergirl and Flash and Batwoman started, or actually I think they all started. Didn't they?
Arrow just started last night, so
Right.
I gotta watch Arrow.
Yeah.
I've only seen Batwoman though. I
Gotcha.
haven't had a chance to watch Flash or
Gotcha.
Supergirl or anything.
Gotcha.
But all I know is like I'm real stoked about it. I think like I saw a trailer for Flash this season, and it looks like they're getting back to a little more fun, a little more
Sure.
like loosey goose,
Yeah.
which I think that show needs.
Mm-hmm.
And Supergirl's always consistently good. And Arrow, I've liked Arrow the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I think it's been really fun. I think they've really improved after the whole Damien Dark stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people have talked about how Arrow for the last 2 seasons was great, and
Yeah.
it really like them making the choice to not constantly go back in time to reveal things that happened was a good opportunity.
Yeah.
And I guess in last season they went into the future.
The future. It was the future.
Interesting,
You
yeah.
see all their kids like growing up and stuff.
That's super interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to know
this
more
is
about
just so broken, y'all. I apologize so much on the YouTube end. This was not set up correctly. It's so broken.
that. So I think what happens is when you cut the stream and then you go up again, it defaults to like
No, whenever when you reconnect YouTube on Restream, you have to go into your settings in Restream and set up the stream, link it to where it's going. This just put out a default, so the title.
Well, it's weird though because when it
everything's
went out the
off.
first time, it had the title and the thumbnail, and it had like, it basically had what I set up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but I can't even get this to. It's not loading the page,
Sick.
so I can't see the chat. If you have it on your phone, we'll say that's good. It's not pulling up on the computer. It's not pulling up anything. So, all because I got rushed downstairs right before the show because the computer blue screen. So,
Be sure to hit that like for Zach's sanity.
I swear to God.
Oh my
Swear to God.
Ronan Chain says, it's all good, Zach. We love you guys. The Force will guide us.
Yeah, I hate being tech support. I don't like it. I don't like it, especially when I see something that dumb.
Zach,
Yeah, man.
Zach, you love your job.
I hate spending money, and I know how much money we just blew through.
Zach, you love your job.
Oh man.
Working for this guy.
Whoa, that one again says that they have a few students doing papers on my dad for their government class.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
interesting.
That's real weird. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like not like weird in a bad way, but I've never seen that. That's really cool,
give
man.
people some context. What does your dad do?
My dad's the police chief in Houston, so you either like me now or you really hate me. But, you know, like,
Okay, that's a choice.
because he's doing like pretty progressive stuff in Houston, and like it's like a lot of like the majority is with it, but there's some people who are like, oh,
Yeah.
screw that, good politics, But my dad's a police chief over there, and he's an immigrant from Cuba, and it's pretty cool. He's like built his way up. He wanted to get back to the country for taking our family in. So he joined law enforcement. And now he's police chief. So yeah, he's really really great.
Nice.
Yeah, love my dad. Love my dad.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, man. I love you, Dad.
Oh my god. Zach, how's your blood pressure?
It's slowly going up.
Perfect. Matt, what else you got for us?
I started the whole 30. I started the whole. I'm
Oh,
a
you
week
did?
in. I'm a week
Interesting.
into the whole 30. I wanted to try
what?
it. It's called the whole 30.
How's your tummy and your butt?
My butt feels great. My poops have been awesome.
Great.
But
What's the whole 30?
you do 30 days of just eating basically meats, veggies, and like nuts. You can't and fruit. You can't do
Like no breads,
no breads,
sugars.
no grains, no sugars, no added sugars. You can do natural sugars, not added. It's like a reset on your body. It's I'm trying to get that reset going, and it's more to get me more of a routine of just like cooking and being a little more disciplined with what I eat. Like that's basically why I'm doing it, because you have to eat 3 times a day. So like I've been doing a lot of meal prep and like making food, and you can drink black coffee, which has been like a lifesaver. But I'm like 6 days in, and I'm already feeling like when I used to like munch on stuff, I feel the dip, man, like hard. I started crashing. They say like the second week is like the hardest, because that's when your body's kind of like dealing with those toxins that you're used to like ingesting. So I'm kind of going through that right now, and I'm just like I feel the dips, man. I feel the dips, and I get like little mood swings. Like me and Kate will be talking, I'm just like, why am I so annoyed right now? but we're both.
Matt,
like,
I don't know if you want to put that on record.
no, but we're both like, it's weird how food affects you like that.
Yeah.
So we're getting through it though.
Dude, I unintentionally didn't eat meat for 2 weeks. Oh man, I was a real asshole.
Yeah,
and I
right?
didn't realize. I was like, why am I being so cranky? And I realized, oh, I haven't eten meat for no reason other than just like I just never got around to it for some reason. And man, was I cranky.
Dude, the hardest thing for me is actually all the all the grains. I love like bread. I never realized how much bread I ate, and like I ate so much bread and like noodles and stuff. And that I think is the thing that's really getting to me, where I'm like, I'm missing out on some like really good grains or quinoa or whatever. You know? But we're getting through it.
I allow real world things to affect my moods instead of whether or not I'm...
Well, Zach, you can't eat
bread.
anything to begin with, so.
That's true, I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly.
And I'm also always cranky, so our baseline gauge is pretty thrown off there.
This is how Zach likes to say goodnight to people. I go upstairs, I'm going to bed, I'm like, oh, good night, Malika. She's like, good night. And I hear from upstairs, good night, you asshole. And I'm like, oh, that's Zach for you. It's perfect. I would expect nothing less.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's been my life recently, and sweet potatoes have been my lifesaver, and so is cauliflower rice.
Oh, yeah, sweet potato, I mean, that's a good lifesaver.
Yeah. Do a little kale sweet potato hash. We steam it in like a little, in a pan, and then add a poached egg on top. That's my breakfast. That's me.
Wonder how long it takes before Zach throws you out of this house.
It's fine.
It's fine. I have coffee. It'll be okay. Zach, how excited are you that Kevin Feige is now going to be in charge of comic books?
Okay, what? So I know you brought this up to me the other day.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, we were debating, like, does publishing also mean print? And then I assumed it did, but that also seems really crazy because, like you said, Quesada still has his role. Interesting.
Yeah.
I know quite a few people have assumed something like this would happen internally, and it would be, Big Dick Daddy Disney. Damn it, I'm trying to... Anyway, Daddy Disney would start bringing its reign a little tighter for a little bit better brand control there. I think it's felt like they've been doing that for a while, but in an unofficial capacity. So I think this is just now, maybe it's going to be happening in official capacity. But, you know, Feige gets results. It'll be interesting to see how he balances everything.
Yeah.
Lord knows he can't deep dive into everything. There's no way. So I feel like it's at a very high level position, you know?
Yeah. Matt, do you know what happened? What's going on?
Do you know the deets or anything? All I know is the headline. All I know
Yeah,
is like,
so Feige is now the chief creative officer of Marvel, Marvel proper, which,
Yeah.
you know, before he was just the president, he was the president of Marvel Studios, which meant he mostly just oversaw all of the films. He reported directly to Disney. Now, with the addition of Disney Plus, they're now adding obviously all those digital shows, but now they're bringing Marvel TV, Marvel Family Entertainment, I think it is, and publishing. They didn't straight up. This is the kind of the weird thing about it, though. They never said Marvel Comics. They said publishing, and I've seen people say like, "No, it's the comic books." I'm like, okay, cool. So why did they just say Marvel? Like, whatever.
Yeah.
In any case, he will now be the guy who's sort of overseeing all of it. Which the TV stuff to me makes sense. I think a lot of people, when they started making Daredevil and the lead up to the Defenders, I think a lot of people were under the impression that even though Jeff Loeb was kind of the creative consultant on all of those things, I think people had assumed that Feige would kind of be the guy who would have the final say of like, this is how it connects to the universe, blah, 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 blah. Here's what you can use, here's what you can't use. And that ended up kind of not being the case. And I think that carried over to things like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Runaways, Cloak-and-Dagger, everything that they're doing now. So now there's the opportunity to bring in those things into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like, for real this time.
Yeah.
So Ghost Rider could be an actual player in the MCU, along with Quake, all those characters. Maybe they could bring Cloak-and-Dagger and the Runaways into it as well. You know, we don't know what the future holds currently for characters like Daredevil and all the Defenders.
I can't imagine that this means all of a sudden everything will be connected.
No.
I think it's just too much. There's too much going on. Although I do remember we had Mark Andreyko on Comics and Coffee it was like a year ago, a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
And, he was theorizing, and I'm sure he hates nobody tag him on this because he'll probably be like, oh shit. I remember he said something on the show, like he assumed that, print was dying and that, Disney would start reining in and be like, where does print go now? What's the next step in all this? Because it's not like it makes them money.
Yep. Damien Crowley says, isn't the Runaways and Cloak-and-Dagger having a crossover episode? Yes, they are. I thought they had already had one, but I guess this is the first season that they're having the crossover episode. So I think that's really, really cool. But yeah, I mean, as someone who's been reading a lot more comics recently, I really appreciate a lot of the stuff that is being done, especially with something like X-Men. And I think a guy like Feige, who really understands the movie universe and like entertainment, live action entertainment, he is also somebody who, because of his position now, he is very, he's read a lot of, he knows what's happening in the comic book world.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see how much of the stuff that they're currently putting out will sort of remain mostly kind of like unaffected by this, and what he'll kind of put his hands on and say, maybe this will kind of be the best thing to do with this character or run or whatever. But I think something like X-Men, which we'll talk about, that will be something that I would imagine, because of how well it's been received.
So they're going to make an X-Men movie, and in the beginning they're going to introduce you to Moira, and they'll be like, this is life number 10, and everyone...
Just from here on, anything Hickman writes is going to be a movie or a TV show.
Seriously, Jesus Christ.
Can you imagine, though, if they brought X-Men in the Hickman way, and people who know nothing about X-Men would be like, what the fuck is going on?
What is this?
What is happening?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like the comics. I actually can't remember how many references there have been to the Avengers. I know that they showed at least once.
In the new one?
Yeah.
In these new ones. I know that they've only showed, I think, once. There was a panel with Cap, Iron Man, and Hulk, I think, or Thor.
They're walking out of the Quinjet.
Yeah.
I think Black Panther was
They ran into both Avengers and Fantastic Four very briefly.
That's right.
At the very beginning.
Yeah, so it's like they've referenced them, but yeah, I don't know. Could you now, because it's all sort of being all under one roof, does that mean that there might be even more inspiration from things like House of X or Powers of 10 to what they're going to do with the movies, or is it just way too ambitious to start with something like that and to then propel it forward to where it needs to go? Like, how does that affect what they've already established for the last 10, 11 years?
Yeah. Michelle, Bunny Specs is in chat, and she asked how it would
Did
affect.
you say Michelle?
I did. I meant Malika.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh my gosh. Malika's in
She's
chat.
going to walk out here and kill you.
She was wondering how that was going to affect the video games.
I knew she was gonna say.
Guys,
That's
I'm
a really good
on
question.
30 right now. I'm all loopy, you know.
It's all good. That's a really good question.
Oh my God, Malika! No! Ah.
At least you didn't call
Walked
her.
into that.
At least you didn't call her Erica, because everyone calls Michelle
Oh my
and
God.
Malika
God.
Erica when they go out in public.
I'm screwed, guys.
Somebody came
I'm
up to
just
us
gonna
at
start walking out.
TwitchCon.
I'll
Somebody
see
came
ya.
up to us at
Goodbye.
TwitchCon and we're like, Erica? And Malika's like, no, Malika.
How dare, first of all.
They look nothing alike.
I actually I'm not really too familiar with like what division of Marvel makes the video games, like what specific division, and if that also got ported over to Marvel Studios. I don't think so, but I'm sure that we don't have all the details of exactly all the things, because they were pretty broad strokes, like Marvel TV, Marvel Family Entertainment, which that is the most of the stuff under that brand deals with the animated series, and then publishing. So I don't know if publishing includes video games. I think it just includes the comic books, so I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I mean, usually it's just a licensing deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's just being licensed by somebody else. And there might be a little bit of involvement there, like you would with any licensing IP deal.
Yeah, I think from like a creative story perspective, I think it would be cool if they did something. I don't want to necessarily say just like a Marvel Cinematic Universe game, but something that like the creatives at Marvel have kind of had their hands on.
I feel the opposite. I want them all to stay separate. Because one of the things I love about what's happening right now with Marvel is a movie comes out that I may not like. That's fine. There's a bunch of comic books with stories that are different that I might like, you know? Same goes for, you know, like the Joker, for instance, you know? Like, I don't really dig the movie, but I've got all these other books that came out the exact same week that are completely different takes on the character.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
And I really like that you can find something that works for you.
Yeah.
And the same goes for the games too. Like they're all telling different stories in their own unique way, and we get all these different ways to consume it.
Yeah.
I like that better than everything trying to be
I definitely don't want it
the
to all be
same
interconnected.
lane, you know?
Yeah. And especially for the comic books, like I personally would hate it if they announced in like 6 months or something like, okay, we're gonna now interconnect all the comic books to the movie universe.
my
I'd be
gosh.
like, oh, I mean, they would never do it unless they're insane.
It's too much, man.
I
That's
would
crazy.
hate it, and I love the movies, most of them. I would hate that. And
I
think
wouldn't
a
be
lot of
happy
fans would
about
hate
that.
it. I think a lot of fans.
Yeah,
would hate
I would be devastated. I like
Because it takes
I
this-
accept them in their own universes.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Just let it be.
It takes this vast universe and it just contracts it to like this little thing.
Yeah.
And as like big as we like to think the universe is cinematically, it is for a movie universe, but for a creative, always evolving universe that and the ability to be able to tell those stories and the evolution of those stories through comic books, I would not want those things to be merged together.
No, not at all.
Because then, like, how do you do one takes? You know, is it, it's like, oh, that's the Elseworld, the Marvel Elseworld. Like, I don't want that to be the case. I want to just continue how it's always been.
I mean, just the fact that we have the X-Men run from Hickman that we have right now
Yeah.
is because they're able to, in the comic book world, to be like, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna completely rewrite this continuity. And people, especially with the movie audience, I don't think they take as kindly to those rewrites of continuity and changes. They want everything to line up, and they're really
Yeah.
particular about it. And I think it's fun in the comics to mix it up.
Which is kind of, like that to me is interesting because I feel like I'm very forgiving to comics, or I've become very forgiving when a comic book is like, oh, we're going to change this thing. And I'm like, okay. But if a movie does it, I'm like,
I think
why?
that's just like mainstream, like people who don't, like just the average consumer. I find whenever I talk to someone who like just watches the movies, they're a little more defendant, like they're more into defending like how it follows the comic. You know what I mean? Like just like what we're talking about, like I don't think people who actually read comics, I think we're okay with that, with the change. But people who, you know, just watch the movies, somehow that gets them to be defenders of it has to follow it exactly like the comic.
Yeah.
But they
I
just-
feel like a weird in between
Yeah.
where I don't care about story changes, but I do care about the heart.
Yes.
Yes.
The
As
heart
a comic
matters.
book, as a comic book fan, if the heart doesn't connect to what the heart of what I drew from those comics for all those years,
Yeah.
then I'm frustrated. I don't care about window dressing.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
man.
changes all the time.
Yeah. Exactly, man.
Yeah.
Any other news we want to talk about this week, there, bud?
I mean, we got this Catwoman casting.
Oh,
and
hey!
then we got an update that Jonah Hill's not going to be in the Batman movie. He passed on whatever roles they were offering him.
I respect that, man.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
look, if you don't find something that's for you that doesn't work, then that's
Yeah.
fine.
I'm into that casting, honestly.
I'm into
Zoe
that
Kravitz?
casting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into that
I'm into
too.
it.
There's been some roles that I've seen her in that I've really, really liked. She's in a new show, and I was trying to find out from Zach, and we couldn't remember what show it was.
I'll remember when I stop trying to think
Is it
about
Big
it.
Little Liars or Big Little Lies? The show that's on
Is that the one it is? Big Little
with
Liars?
Nicole Kidman and that really great cast,
It might be that one.
Shailene Woodley and everyone. So I saw her in that, and I was like, oh, dude, she's like really, really great in this. But then you see in some other things, and she kind of has this like, I don't know, like kind of like a very emotionless
What was she in that?
look
I
on
would
Mad Max
absolutely-
Fury Road, probably.
That's
probably
right.
it.
Yeah.
But in any case, I mean, most of the things that I've seen her in, she's been really, really great.
Pretty Little Liars is what she's
Pretty Little Liars is what
Yeah.
it's called. What did I say? Big Little Liars?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited about it. I think the biggest thing for me when it comes to these types of characters, because a character, and not always, because there's been so many interpretations of Selina Kyle, but she's been usually she's equally energetic and also very like cool and collected and reserved. But she has like her moments.
Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies. Yeah.
Everyone's wrong.
Didn't I say Big Little? I don't know what I
You said Big Little Liars.
Oh, Liars. But yeah, but in that show, she's great. So I'm curious. I'm excited to see the take on the character because I know that Matt Reeves, he's not going to be like, hey, I want to do Michelle Pfeiffer. Hey, I want to do Eartha Kitt. Hey, I want to do, Anne Hathaway. It's going to be some really cool new spin on the character. And I like all the casting for the movie so far.
I'm into it, man.
So
I think it's
I'm
great.
excited to see what's going to happen with it.
Yeah. And, even though Jonah Hill doesn't want to do it, we'll find another Penguin.
For sure.
He was gonna be Penguin.
Or Riddler.
gonna be
he's,
Penguin.
he would be
Yeah.
Penguin.
Yeah.
I would imagine he'd be Penguin.
Yeah. I actually liked the guy who played Penguin in Gotham.
He was good.
I thought he was
Robert
great.
Lord Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As like a young Penguin.
He was definitely one of the better parts of that show.
Yeah.
And really did something new and unique with because I think everyone sees Penguin and they're like, oh, he's a short, chubby little gangster.
Yeah.
And Robin Lord Taylor, he had the look, but he was also very intimidating and creepy.
He was, yeah. I thought he pulled it off really well.
Yeah, it was really good.
I don't know. I didn't finish that show. I stopped, but I liked him a lot.
Yeah, to me, the show itself was, and I get it, it's like its own take on what if there were Gotham villains before Batman was ever in existence, but I'm like, it kind of misses the whole point of
Yeah.
Batman.
Doesn't he become Batman at the end?
He does.
It's literally
There's
like...
literally a shot of him in the final episode of him on a roof as Batman, and I went, this suit is horrendous.
It was
I
bad.
gotta look this up, dude. There's...
It was bad.
It's
Oh my-
horrendous. For some reason, TV Batman has always looked bad. Even on Titans, when in like that dream sequence, the suit looks 15 kinds of fucked up.
But at least it was only corner shots.
Yeah,
and
it's like silhouette
and like
mostly.
silhouettes. You don't really get to see it, and I think that's the best way to see Batman.
I agree.
And
But when Gotham is like a full shot on top of a building, and you see this like hockey pad suit, you're like, what the hell?
That's bad, dude.
It's bad.
I don't like that X in the middle.
Yeah, it's like, oof, it's brutal.
Wow. All right. Well.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that movie. That movie's still almost 2 years away, or a year and 4 months.
Yeah, we got
or
some
10 months away. So whatever happens.
Oh, that's right. Malika
excited
hasn't
for it.
watched the new season of Titans yet. The Batman that you liked from the last episode of season 1, Malika, isn't really the Batman you get in season 2.
He's a great Batman Beyond Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, that's
Is he though? Because his accent is like.
yeah. We've talked about it on our Titans podcast.
Yeah.
That is some very interesting casting for Bruce
Yeah.
Wayne.
For sure.
And we'll never. I don't think we'll ever see him as Batman on the show. I think we'll only see him as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
We see him running around killing people.
I mean,
he's
just to
super
watch
versatile.
him support himself
He's
to
so
sit on
old,
the
man.
couch, dude. I'm like, bro, you're old.
Yeah. We were saying, me and
yeah,
Adam
I
were
don't
saying though in the Titans podcast that we liked the it was written well. The dialogue between Dick and
Yeah, there's some great concepts
Bruce.
there, and there's some great ideas, and the relationship of rebuilding that friendship between Bruce and Dick Grayson is really, really cool. And I've actually liked the show. I really have been liking it. I did watch this past week's episode, Connor.
I need to see that one still. Oh, don't tell me what happens. Don't tell me what
I
happens.
wasn't as big of a fan of it like I was last week's episode,
that's a
Deathstroke.
bummer.
That so far has been the best episode.
Cool.
The Shape.
I need to catch up.
Yeah.
It hasn't really been on my watch list.
This season's been good.
I tried getting back into some of the superhero CW shows. I watched all the like episode 1s of the new, I thought I would like Batwoman better,
I thought so too.
and I thought that pilot was atrocious.
Yeah. It felt so
I haven't watched it yet.
uninspired and generic. Like I found
Yeah.
that like I saw I remember talking to Adam about
It
this.
reminded me
like,
of how Arrow started.
Yeah. It just felt very bland. Like, and we've seen this.
Yeah.
To
And that's
me.
kind of too bad because the show, unfortunately, had an uphill battle because
Yeah.
everyone on the internet was being so hard on this show.
And I haven't watched episode 2 yet, so I know pilots like
Can
Yeah.
be rough.
can be rough, and they can change quite a bit after the pilot. So I usually don't try to judge an entire season based on the pilot.
Yeah.
Same.
But that pilot did not impress me,
Yeah.
and I think what I love about the CW shows, love's a strong word. What I find adequate about the CW shows is that they bring a fun life to those characters that we don't get to see in
Yeah.
the movies, and I don't really want more brooding right now on CW. Like I like Supergirl because it's fun.
Yeah.
And
I
there's-
liked Flash when it was fun.
right.
I haven't seen the first episode yet, but are we gonna get more fun?
I don't think so.
That's a bummer. That's
Especially
a
with
bummer.
an event like Crisis coming.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get
Pretty
darker
looming.
before it
It's
gets
pretty
worse.
looming too,
Yeah.
and
I
I'm
get
excited
it.
for that event though. I'm excited for the event.
I'm excited I'm honestly excited for Arrow. I'm excited to watch that. Like I saw like just a little teaser on Stephen Amell's Twitter of, and like there's a character that shows up. And,
Well, they keep, like,
It feels like a
revealing-
love letter to the whole show, which
Yeah.
I'm excited for. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
and I think now that it's a shortened 10-episode season, I think that it's going to be hopefully a lot more
Oh, it's only a
focused.
10-episode season?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more
it's gonna
focused.
be so tight, and then
Yeah.
I think is Crisis after or is it during that?
It's during because it starts in December. There's I think it's 3 episodes in December, and then 2 episodes will wrap it out in January. And I'm not sure if the Arrow episode that concludes Crisis is the final or close to the final.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah,
hella
it's gonna
dope
be
if they
exciting.
ended Crisis with the ending of Arrow.
Yeah.
That would be so sick.
And
And then
conclude
like he goes
the
out in
story.
a bang.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
dude. I'm so happy I stuck with that show. Like I love Arrow.
Oh, okay.
I love it, dude.
That's okay.
I loved it. I kept with it, man. Like I'm all into that. I mean, look, dude, I like cheesy stuff. I watch all Once Upon a Time for Lord knows why.
Honestly, the later seasons of Arrow aren't as bad as the last couple seasons of Flash.
Exactly.
I think they're stronger. I think people
Yeah.
turn their back on it.
Yeah.
And when Arrow finds its stride, I like the flashing forward last season. I thought that was good.
cool.
I think their fight choreography is way better than the fight choreography on any of the other CW shows.
And then stop. Guys, it's not working. What do I do?
I really
Just rolls to the ground. I can dodge bullets, but I couldn't make that turn.
Some of the running on Flash is very, very silly.
Flash to me has some of the biggest problems, and I feel like the writers are so lazy with it. Where I'm like, at least with Supergirl, they're trying to get creative with how do we give her disadvantages. They're usually emotional based and
Yeah.
things like that. Flash, it's like, well, we've already established that he can phase through this and
Yeah.
create tornadoes and do this and that and basically stop time to dodge bullets and everything else, but then he'll just get tripped.
Yeah. That was season 1 was a blessing and a curse because it was so good, but it established him being able to do so much stuff that when you got into later seasons, it just felt like a rinse and repeat.
I know.
Which led us to like, how do we get Barry into more
Yeah.
troubling things? It's like, oh, let's pull his emotional strings. Like,
Yeah,
no!
I think the most interesting stuff that they've done with Flash's character, and it's not even a whole lot, is when it is the crossover stuff.
Yeah, man.
Because he gets to engage and interact with other really cool DC characters.
Hey, Adam, can I talk to you over here for a second? That's literally every episode.
I know.
It's literally episode. Can I talk to you over here for a second? It's like it's Flash therapy, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Iris and you know.
That's a
all
bummer.
this
I could see that show this season not being fun because of how last season ended. I guess I'll
I
just
mean,
say
it starts right off with like,
No, the morning.
how could you not? They built that up in such a way.
She's not. Spoilers, I guess. I don't know.
Spoilers, their daughter's dead.
She's like,
But not really, because it wasn't really the daughter they've had yet.
yeah, she's the future. You know, it's the future daughter.
Maybe that future just doesn't happen
Yeah, they
anymore, so
say
she
the
stops
future.
to exist.
Yeah. But
Also-
I'm like, do they have to mourn that? I
Yeah,
mean,
they got a mourn. They
I don't
set it
know.
up
It's
as
just
their daughter.
so boring. I hated the Nora stuff. I was so against last season. I
Also, we have a
really
new
didn't
viewer,
like it, dude.
Kaylee King on YouTube. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining.
What's that?
What's up?
What's up?
Yeah,
Hey.
Crisis is gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
They just revealed a new photo of the Anti-Monitor today. His suit he looks awesome. Pariah. They cast the Spectre.
Oh,
Spectre's gonna be
shit.
in it. I'm
It's
like,
me, guys.
dude.
It's me.
All
I'm
the
Spectre.
I,
I'm just
I love that they're throwing in that love letter to all the Supermen from the different eras.
Oh, I know, man.
It's so good.
I want to see Ray Palmer with Superman. I just a little quick
It would
thing.
be so cool
If they both were.
if they're just like looking at each other like.
Is
yeah.
Legends even going to be a part of this one? though?
Yeah,
No,
he's
yeah.
playing.
Oh,
He's
yeah?
playing.
Yeah.
He's playing Ray Palmer and Superman on it.
That's fucking nuts.
Because they set it up when they did the first crossover. When they set it up and they meet Supergirl when she comes into the Arrowverse, Superman or Ray Palmer makes the comment. She kind of looks like a cousin of mine. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
she does.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on! You guys got to pay this off. Yeah, the fact that I mean, look, I get it. It's about the Arrowverse characters, but man, how rad would it be? And there was that little newspaper clipping of Michael Keaton's Batman.
I saw that.
Yeah,
he
so I'm
tweeted
like,
about that.
oh, dude, is that really is that for real? Are they really gonna have like this Easter egg that like Bruce Wayne from Batman '89 married Selina Kyle? That'd be cool. I don't need to see Michael Keaton. 'Cause
No,
I don't think
no.
they'll do that anyway.
I don't think they can.
No, but having that little like Easter egg of like this is what happened to that Bruce Wayne, in case you were wondering, is really cool. And
Yeah.
we're getting Kevin Conroy
I know.
as Bruce Wayne.
I'm sorry I have to do this. It's only because Fadior said it.
Oh no.
Everyone loves Firefly, but just because Fadior said it and he's so good at poop caboosing everything we say on our channel, I'm gonna let you know. I didn't like Firefly. I thought it was pretty boring.
That's fair.
I only got through 3 episodes and I kind of felt the same way.
Oh,
Did not like it.
I liked it a lot.
Maybe if I rewatch it now, I'd have a different opinion. But I remember when I watched it, I was like, man, this thing was really hyped up. And it's fun.
And
but
it's just like very Whedon, Whedon TV, where you're like, okay.
yeah, it was kind of one of those things where I was like, I'll go watch Buffy instead.
Oh man, Buffy's great. Even
I will
and-
say I liked Buffy better than Firefly.
I do too.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Same.
Buffy's fantastic.
Angel was not as good.
No, it's too.
No, when Angel came on,
too
You're trying too hard.
yeah, when Angel
on,
came on, I would constantly just go back to Buffy.
There were
Used to
characters I
love
liked in
watching that
Angel.
show.
You know, like his partner, the
Look at that critically awkward. No Firefly love. Wow, that's an unsub button. Sorry. You know, I'm really sorry. That's just the way it is.
That is
Yeah.
what it is.
That's the way it is. You know.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and Black Lightning's gonna be in the crossover.
Black
Dude.
Lightning's gonna be in it too.
Yeah, dude.
Oh what?
Yeah.
Has he hasn't
hasn't
met
crossed
anyone
Never.
yet.
This is
yeah.
the first time.
I only seen the first season. I need to see last season
good.
still.
Yeah.
It's good.
Dude.
Dang.
Oh,
good.
My brain is gonna like explode when I watch
Isn't
this.
his daughter like become like the focus of now the show? I remember that after first season, like she discovers her powers.
Yeah, I don't know about this new season, but yeah, last season
I love
it
that.
was, that family dynamic was heavily present.
Yeah. I love that.
Are we gonna talk about anything else?
You guys excited for Joss Whedon's The Nevers
No.
show for HBO? I don't
The
even know.
Nevers?
I don't even know anything about it.
I don't get excited about Joss Whedon TV.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people do. I'm like, it's so fucking average in almost every way, shape,
I
and
like
form.
I like Avengers. I loved Avengers.
I thought I will say this. I liked Avengers more 10 years later.
Really didn't like
After
Avengers first?
well, at first I came out of being like, that's great, and I can see why they wanted Whedon to do it because he's really great with that interpersonal dialogue and like team
Yeah.
dialogue and stuff like that. But it looks like a made-for-TV movie
Yeah.
in a lot of parts. Like the lighting's so high key and there's so many awkward stagings.
You know what's
and-
crazy about that? I didn't notice that until I met you. Because you brought that up and I was like, what does that mean? And then I like looked it up and I researched it and I started like comparing and contrasting. I was like, God damn, Zach's right. This does look like a TV movie.
It's got that high key lighting, man.
And
I get
what
that.
what really solidified that for me
Yeah.
was when we were working on Avengers in the VFX studio. I remember watching it before it was done, so it didn't have like a final mix and music and all that sort of stuff. And the first thing I thought when I watched was like, why the fuck does this look like a TV movie?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
I
really
get that, man.
it has a vibe to it that I think was good for the time
Mm-hmm.
and need to happen. I wasn't really feeling it at the time. 10 years later, when I watched it, I could appreciate it a little bit more and
Yeah.
like what it set up and how those characters have grown.
Yeah.
But I can't put the Whedon Avengers movies on the same level as Endgame
I agree.
and Infinity
I'm
War.
with you on
Like,
that.
those are way better movies.
Like, I mean, everything that the Russo bros touch is like,
Yeah,
it's like
way
it's
better.
literally like a next phase for
It
Marvel.
found a way to take that same style with the same
Elevate
beats
it.
and elevate it to
Yeah.
being a better
Yeah.
movie.
I mean, Winter Soldier is still like.
It was a better theme park. It was like going from Six Flags to Disney World. Is that how
Do you really mean that?
Damn.
No, I don't like Disney World.
Oh,
I was doing that just for Matt. I was doing that for
but
Matt.
I get it. Yeah, it's
Even
like-
I got
yeah.
excited.
Yeah, I know. I was like, did we just?
Critically Awkward wants to know if they're the only person that hated Endgame. Maybe.
My friend hated it.
Was that?
My friend Patrick hated it.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what? I'm like, we've been friends since 4th grade. I don't know. Are we really friends? I was kidding.
Man.
She hated it, but he also hated it, I think, because someone walked in. Like I said, a teenager walked in
Spoilers.
and yelled what happens, and then no one, his friends didn't hear, and he was just like, dude, what the? And like
Yeah.
sat the rest of the movie like he was really.
Oh wow.
Really
I
upset.
really enjoyed it, but I will say I found myself drifting each time I watch it during the Clint Barton scene in Japan.
Oh yeah, same.
I'm like, this didn't need to be in the movie.
Same man.
That whole scene didn't work for me. But the beginning with Clint Barton, every time the movie starts, I get chills. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's
I
such a
still
good scene.
think-
Such
I-
a good scene.
I'm glad that they didn't make that the ending of Infinity War.
Yeah.
What?
Because that was the plan.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
gonna be the
yeah.
ending of Infinity War.
I still think like Infinity War is still so much more fun. Like I mean, you know, it. I
Oh, yeah,
I could
it's more
rewatch
fun.
Infinity War all the time.
Yeah,
I
great.
had to be in the mood for Endgame, but I love it. You know.
So, are we gonna talk comic books today, or fuck it?
I mean, we can.
I mean,
Someone in YouTube wants to. Preston Bryan wants to know what's high key lighting.
You see everything. Most TV, to avoid shadows and allowing your actors to traverse the set. A lot of film is very, very controlled in its lighting. You're emulating the best version of what you might see in reality for a very specific angle, and it's usually fairly tight. It's going to have a lot of contrast, being able to focus your attention on one very specific area, whereas say for television or comedy, you go for high key lighting where you're going to overlight a lot of the scene, so your actors can move around, improv, follow the flow of the action where they feel it might need to go, and it kind of saves you a little bit. There are still ways to make high key like cinematic, but typically high key has a feeling of looking like television because
Yeah.
it's just kind of overly lit.
Yeah.
that's cool, man. That's
Comics.
Comics.
Comic books.
Yo, this week I felt like this week was kind of light. Did anyone else feel that, or does maybe for my pull list it was light?
I mean, I didn't get a chance to read every single thing that I wanted to read, but compared to last week, it was lighter.
Yeah, definitely. Last week was huge. Man. What did y'all? Let's get into this. I didn't pick this up. I didn't.
So
I'm not a
we're gonna-
fan of like I don't know. I usually don't pick up like.
We're gonna talk.
prelude to
We're gonna
movies.
talk comic books now on this comic book show. After starting off with me having a little meltdown about equipment and thinking in the back of my head how much it's gonna cost to rebuild our big computer downstairs. But
We
now
vented,
we're gonna
yeah.
talk some comic books.
We had our afternoon coffee. We
yeah,
vented.
yeah, we vented a little bit.
vented?
The sun's going down, so I'm gonna keep adjusting our camera from my phone here. Bluetooth controlled camera, always a good time.
It's good stuff, man.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. You know, it's not really precise, but it gets the job done, right? As the sun sets, because we started doing this show up here in the summer.
Yeah, when it was consistently light all the way till 8 p.m.
Whoops.
And now, not so much.
And we're gonna lose an hour.
Big whoops.
We're
I
gonna.
mean, I
lose
could
an hour
literally
next
walk
week.
over there and just
Okay,
turn these
honestly,
lights
us
on.
losing an hour is almost better
So you can just set
because
up.
I can just turn on these lights
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah.
This weird transitional phase is
Yeah.
whatever. So we're gonna talk some comic books. I read a lot of really great comic books this week.
Good.
I've not got to talk about comic books with you guys in a while, so I'm excited to dive into it. So right off the bat, we've got
Spooky overlays.
we got Spooky.
Wow, we nailed that. Fuck me up.
A little chord.
Show over. We reached our peak for the day. We're done.
That's all we got for you. Thank
All
you very
right,
much.
Journey to Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker Allegiance, 2019, number 104.
Yeah,
I'm guessing
so-
this is an Adam read.
Oh, 100%. So Zach picked up issue 2,
Whoops.
but I didn't read issue 1.
Whoops.
So I went back and I asked him if he could grab issue 1 for me.
Did you
So
read
I read
both of
1
them?
and 2.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
So number 2 came out this week.
Yeah, so number 2 came out this week. This is from, I'm assuming, last month. And this is something that's very common. Every time a new Star Wars movie comes out, Marvel and Lucasfilm, they'll usually do some run of like comic books or books to sort of like lead you in and tie you into what might kind of like help you, give you some context as to like what's been going on in the universe.
They do it for Marvel movies too.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And The Rise of Skywalker, I believe, takes place around 3 years after The Last Jedi. Can
you turn those lights on?
Thanks. The Rise of Skywalker comes out about 3 years, or takes place 3 years after. It takes place about 3 years after The Last Jedi. So I'm expecting there to be a lot of books and a lot of comic books that will sort of tie in the universe.
Okay, that's cool.
And what I like about it is not necessarily for the stories. Like, these stories are okay.
Yeah.
Like, this one is all about the First Order going onto another planet that's kind of been neutral in the Republic. Like, they haven't been affiliated with the Resistance or the First Order or the Empire or the Rebellion.
Yeah.
They've always been kind of neutral. And it's more or less them just like shooting it down, and then Leia finds out that they've shot it down. And so Leia wants to basically take Rose, Chewie, Rey, the droids on a mission to another planet to sort of like honor a fallen character, but also get help from former allies. And the biggest thing for me that I like about it is that it gives us a little bit more context as to like what these characters go through. And I feel like it adds just like a little extra layer. When you go into the movie, you have like a little bit more of like, man, okay. Because I'm assuming that all the stuff that's going to lead into the Rise of Skywalker is going to be pretty like, not dark, but they're going to have a really big uphill battle to fight when they go into the movie, because it's been 3 years. The Resistance has shrunken down to almost nothing. There really isn't a rebellion like there used to be. Like, the whole point of the end of the movie is that whatever leads into this next one, it's going to be about rebuilding that. So it seems like now, through this comic book, they're really going to start setting up, okay, the Resistance is trying to recruit allies, ships, weapons to fight against the massive First Order army. So it gives you a nice insight into characters like General Hux and now Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and all that sort of stuff. So
Supreme Leader.
He killed Supreme Leader Snoke in the last movie, so now he is the Supreme Leader.
Well, shit.
There's some really cool references to characters that, I guess I can just say it. There's a nice reference to Admiral Akbar in these comics. It also deals with the Mon Calamari, which I think is really, really cool. And it gives us a little insight into Rey and her continued training to become a Jedi. So I really like the first 2 issues. I think I like issue 2 more because we got to see a little bit more with like Poe and Finn and the mission that they're on. They're trying to recruit all the weapons, but they're simultaneously being hunted by bounty hunters. So really, really fun, nice little insight into the Star Wars universe. Will it matter for the movie? No, I doubt it.
Yeah.
If you want to just read it for fun, it'll be 4 issues. It'll be a nice, quick read for the most part, and you'll kind of be good to go.
I mean, if it's
Yeah.
only 4 issues, what do you got to lose?
Yeah, you got nothing to lose. It gives you a little more context that probably won't pay off when you see the movie in December, but that's all good.
Yeah.
That's not really why I read the comics. I just want a little bit more of that lore.
Yeah.
All right.
Now this, man.
So it begins. The
it's-
dawn of X.
We're doing this. We're just jumping into this.
Yo,
Well, yeah,
I
we
mean,
might
we're
as
going
well.
in order. you
The
know?
dawn of X.
Yo, this has got me so hyped. Like,
Yeah?
this whole run's just got me like
The whole run has got
fired
me
up,
super
man.
hyped. But I can't get over the fact that Wolverine lives with Cyclops.
I know.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's weird.
I
It's
turned the
like
page.
the
I turned the
Summers
page and I was
family,
like,
and you're like, what the fuck? Logan,
Yeah.
what are you doing in there, man?
Yep.
There's got to be a deeper story there.
Yeah.
So this issue, X-Men #1, deals a lot with the Summers family.
That's right.
And how their position is, what their position is in this new era.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that interview with Hickman that came out this week?
No.
He said that the reason they focused on Life 6 of Moira and Powers of 10 is because they have an amazing writer who's going to be coming in to do Moira 10 as going to be a solo book.
No way.
okay,
He
that
did
makes
not
sense.
announce who the writer was, but he said it's like someone that they've been working with and they're super excited about it and they can't wait for it. but because they wanted to leave that for that person to be able to explore.
That's cool.
Who would be good for that? Because I don't think I don't know who I would choose for a writer for that. Like
Right.
Like like I don't think Mark Waid is right for it. For like this kind of like crazy sci-fi-esque. I definitely wouldn't do. Or maybe I wouldn't do Donny Cates. I wouldn't do. I don't know. There's a lot of people that it's
Within the Marvel kind of lexicon right now,
Yeah.
who they've been pushing forward. Kieran, maybe?
Oh yeah, Kieran Gill.
Yeah.
Kieran Gillen. I could see that. He's like they're usually is Kieran?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He does a lot of weird stuff like that. So I feel like he'd be able to handle that. That'd be dope.
It'd also be interesting if they brought in somebody that hasn't worked with Marvel yet.
True.
Yeah,
That would
that's
be
true.
awesome.
That'd be really sweet.
Here's let's dive into this. So we get it's a brave new world. Standing between the secret land and the human world are the heroes of mutantdom. The X-Men. The X-Men.
Can you do a podcast where you just read the comic book like that? Think people
X-Men. Issue 1. Now. No, so we get a little bit of some other X-Men in this, but like I
Yeah.
said, the majority of the issue focuses on Scott. I actually really loved this beginning part.
Yeah.
I like this more than the family shit.
Yeah.
Like getting some setup of reestablishing like, Summers has become he's like the tactical head in a way of the X-Men. A lot of people in the X-Men respect his opinion and his voice, and what he thinks about things. They're often turning to him.
Yeah.
Even more so than Xavier at times.
Yeah. We moved past the terrorist Cyclops stuff. He's like that stuff is like not even a thing anymore. And seeing this team up with
This was
Magneto
cool.
was sick, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
this was really, really cool.
Seeing them all work together like this is really, really crazy. And there's a line that Magneto says where what does he say? It's like you have nothing to fear, child, for Magneto will be there. Or something like that.
Yeah. They will bow to me or whatever he says.
And his daughter says it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. No, it's great. And I love just like, the continuation of like, because I think this takes place like weeks. Like they established that they've been at this point for weeks now where they're like bringing in mutants into Krakoa.
Yeah.
And I just love the insight into
this
that.
team is trying to clean up everything that's left
Yeah.
of the group that was sending the Master Mold,
Yeah.
Mastermind into the sun, all that good stuff. So they're just cleaning up all the excess stuff, and I love that you get to see how that set up a lot of this too.
Yeah.
The new villains in a way that are going to be going forward in this run.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I don't know what to think about this character.
Yeah.
That they
Yeah.
show
Is this
briefly.
like
An elevated human.
Do we
the next step
know-
of human evolution.
So I'm assuming this is not a character that we've seen before.
No.
No.
Okay, cool.
It reminds me of Mr. Negative though, for sure. Like, same color scheme and everything. I wonder if there's like similar powers.
Yeah, this was really cool. And knowing what I know about, these mostly Hickman and these books, I can't wait to get, whether it's whatever issue it'll end up being, but to get like the side notes that like breaks down more about this character specifically and like what's happened to this character, because we get a really cool breakdown of like different types of
Magneto's
beings.
such a dick.
Oh my god, it's so good though.
Oh, I love that.
You should just start reading all of Magneto's lines like Donald Trump.
Oh, Zach, I don't know that. I like my Fassbender, goddammit.
You might like Fassbender,
No,
but that's some
they don't.
narcissistic
I
bullshit
know.
right there.
I don't want this comic to be ruined for me.
What have you done, Zach?
Ruined it.
Only Zach can ruin it. Oh, man.
God.
You trash fire.
Nah, his too much vocabulary.
Yeah, for
There's
real.
way too much vocabulary.
It's way
It's
too
narcissistic, but way too much
Like, it's
vocabulary.
way too
Yeah.
sophisticated.
Yo,
But all of this would I love this. Let's get these children home. These were such cool moments. And I agree. I love the fact that like Scott was such a pivotal focus in this, because yes, he's been in Powers and House, but this is finally an opportunity for this character for us to really understand his stance on stuff.
Yeah.
And there's even like a moment in this was it last book? No, it's in this issue. Where he's asked like, do you really believe this?
yeah.
And he just has like a very strong delivery and a stance of like,
He's like,
this is
absolutely,
it. Yeah.
yes. And I'm like, dang, he believes in this. Also, Man, where the summer house is?
Dude,
It's on the moon.
It's on the moon.
I turned the page and I was
the
like,
heck?
what the
Which
hell?
they had pre-set up in the books
Yeah.
Yeah.
when we saw Scott take off from the mission from his moon base.
Yeah, which I was like, I thought it was like some off-planet X-Men base, but then realizing, oh, this is clearly the Summer's home. Oh, here it is.
You won't have to run. No. Right, Magneto. Let man run from me.
I need some ibuprofen.
Yo, this issue though, like, what do you guys think about the villain? What was he injecting? What do you think he was injecting into himself? Was he? I kind of think he's injecting.
No,
like
he turned himself into an ape.
Yeah. Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah.
I missed. I was reading it right before this.
That was the apes. They turned
Yeah.
themselves into apes
That's dope. That's
and
dope.
then ripped themselves apart,
Yeah.
according to Magneto.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They injected themselves like that. I'm more concerned about what that ruby at the end does.
I mean, because they said they could bring
It could
back.
bring someone back to life.
Yeah.
Which the whole kind of theme of this X-Men book is to kind of recycle themselves and
Right.
keep
Yeah.
themselves alive.
So this version of Scott, it's technically like a third clone or a fourth clone of him, right? Because we saw Scott die.
We did.
But with the whole, Krakoa, like, and, gold balls, like, system that they got going on.
Did this line not mess with you a little bit? It messed with me. But I held on and look, I have you and your father and my family, my boy, and we are home. I know, in my head, I'm like, I know he's probably just referring to her as I have you as a friend, but to have it like said in this scene with their backs turned and them being together like that, and because it's silhouetted, they're kind of merged.
Yeah.
To say I have you, it felt to me like, are you and Polaris an item in this book?
Yeah.
Like, it was really hard for me to decipher between the lines on that when I'm following the art with the words in this one.
That's kind of how I took it, and I reread it to make sure I didn't make a mistake.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is that what they're alluding to?
Right, I honestly felt like, because
Yeah.
I was like, this image
It's
all-
very much.
ties them together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's very much alluding to like, oh, these are like they're connected families now. I'm like, oh, does he mean this in a philosophical way or like literally?
Yeah. It was hard for me to decipher because we haven't necessarily seen him and Jean as an item.
Yes.
Right. They're
Yeah.
they just work together.
Right, we
Yeah.
haven't seen that aspect yet.
Yeah.
And we also don't know if this is the young teenager Jean or not.
Right.
Like,
right.
we don't know.
Because it kind of
Yeah.
it looks like young
Yeah.
teenager Jean,
Yeah.
but
We don't know if that's part of this story.
what happened to like the adult Jean Grey?
Well, she would be dead. It depends on like what we haven't figured out yet in these books is X10, year 10 of Moira 10, is it like... Also, yeah, Scott and Jean have separate rooms too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Summers home.
Right next to Wolverine's. I'm like, oh,
Wolverine,
interesting.
yeah, Jean's between Wolverine and
Yeah,
Scott.
I'm
And I was like,
oh,
what the fuck is
okay,
going on?
Okay.
But is Moira 10's life the continuity we've grown up with?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's what we haven't decided yet. We
Yeah.
don't know yet. If it is, then that's teenage G.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. I love seeing the stuff with Cyclops and his dad too, and how his dad in the
That was
post-credit
cool,
scene was
yeah.
like, this is weird. I'm worried about this, man. This is Scott. This is like really messed up stuff.
I like that Cyrodiil Drakenmar says, I got a polyamorous feeling from this book. I mean, it could just be a lot of that going on maybe too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mutants, all one big family now.
Elliot Troy on YouTube says, the breakdown of Scott's house differentiates Jean's room and Scott's room. I think Scott and Polaris are together, which leads me to believe Professor X is withholding memories from each life that he feels are holding them back, making the best versions of themselves.
Oh, that's very, very. I can see that.
They just told me that the audio's messing up again.
No!
Y'all, today.
As Storm would say right here, conflict was unavoidable.
That's not
you, Matt.
Storm.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was Storm for a sec. Damn.
So, yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Ah,
So that's a restream
Yeah.
problem, a service that we pay for.
Hey, cool, man. It's cool that we pay for a service that can't just like
Well-
handle one stream. Son of a bitch.
Oh, what the hell is going on?
You know what we don't want to do right now is have to end the damn thing again.
What
And
sounds like
restart
that's
it.
what we have to do.
No.
that's
Why, oh, why? Why, oh, why?
I know you saw this disaster coming. we're at the start like of a brand new like a new generation of X-Men. You know,
Yeah.
This is like what should I call this? What should we call this? The Roaring 20s of the X-Men.
What?
We're getting into the 2020. I don't know.
Oh, I see what you did there, you sneaky sleuth.
Or we just call it like Powers of X or House of X. But
I mean, I think like for people like me who I have not followed all the continuity of the X-Men comic books, but to have something that's so strong to start a new run and a new story in the X-Men universe, and then to use a strong story like this, obviously having Hickman there still is great to like continue that on. And now that we've like set up all of these like webs to see where it's gonna go, it really excites me. And it seems like, and it's only the first issue of this new X-Men book, but it seems like the purpose of the book possibly will be to focus on certain characters.
Yeah.
And I like that because it'll give us a lot more context as to like who those characters are in this new take and universe.
Yeah.
Which I really like. And Scott's always been a character that I really enjoyed from the animated series and some of the older comics that I read. And cinematically, I've always been disappointed with what they've done with that character because it's been so limited to like basically nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to hopefully get a really good insight and understanding into who that character is from this like new era of comic
I'm really
books.
excited too that like we're finally getting a Scott to cheer for. I hated Scott like the last 10 years, man. When after it all, like ever since basically Avengers vs X-Men, AVX, like Scott has been like so awful to me. I just couldn't. I find him unbearable. But I'm excited to see him finally back to the leader that we knew him, that how I liked him when I was growing up as well. It's cool to see him taking those reins again.
Yeah.
It's fine now.
What'd you do?
I deleted and re-imported the source. That's it. That's it.
Lord help us, Lordy Lord. It's like you just gotta turn shit on and off, and then it's like.
And by reload
okay.
the source, I don't even mean like created a new source. It was just delete, add, and then just put it back on the timeline. That's it. Turn it off and on. I turned it off and on.
Zach, don't you like tech?
No,
You love
it's
it.
driving me fucking crazy.
You love it.
I have an uncle, dude, who does like who can like do an exorcism on the house if you want. It might be like something following you, dude.
So anyway, tech misery loves company. Yeah, man. I'm a big fan of when I'm watching like political debates or a live sports thing and I see something fuck up and I'm like,
Live programming is.
yeah. Somebody leaves an audio source on when they switch scenes and somebody's microphone's still on or something like that. I love it.
So good.
So Trees, Three Fates,
Yo,
number
what is
2.
this? I saw this. I almost picked it up because I really, really like. Who's writing this? It was Ellis.
Warren Ellis, yeah.
Yeah. So I like Ellis, and this is a series before.
Trees was a series by Warren Ellis that was never finished. So here's like I've been reading a lot of Warren Ellis lately. Like I love Warren Ellis's writing. I want him to finish a book so bad. Every Warren Ellis book I get into doesn't finish. I want it so bad. So Trees did not finish, and he started a new book, Trees, Three Fates. Injection, never finished. Injection was really great. What?
Nothing.
What's your problem? I'm glad you guys are having a good
I
time.
love you, Matt. I hope you know
Oh,
that.
too, man.
But I really want Ellis to finish a book. So Trees was a series that got like 12 to 13 issues in, never resolved. And then he started Trees, Three Fates, and it seems like it's going to be a short run, so we'll get a resolution and we'll actually get some answers.
Nice. Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. But
Do I need to read Trees before going into this?
No.
Okay, that was my question because I looked it up, and if you click on it, it shows like the volume. I was very confused, so I figured it was a spin-off or something. So
Yeah, it is a spin-off. I think you can just dive into it and follow the mystery.
Cool.
This seems more about a small town and how that small town is reacting to the trees and what those trees might be doing to that small town. Whereas Trees, the series, was about every single one of the trees around the world and the overall political structure and how that changed things and revealing what those trees were about and what they were for. So it's more concise.
nice,
So,
man.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll check it out.
The Marked #1. I liked and disliked this book. There was a lot there. I thought the art at times was really great, and other times just okay. But it's basically about this girl who finds out that she has a special talent, and by answering, have you ever seen those? They used to be in magazines where it'd be like, if you can draw this picture, you might be able to win a scholarship. Yada
Yeah.
yada yada. So the girl does that, but she draws something that doesn't look anything like the picture she's looking at, and then she gets invited into this home, and they're like, you have this special sight, and you're one of the talented, and then she gets to bear the mark. And so it's about these women who have magical powers, and they've fought for America for years through their tattoos that release these magical abilities. I thought there were some really great ideas in the book, but the book reads and moves at a certain pace where it's making the idea not as concise at times, so it can be a little hard to follow, and not because it's so dense. It's more just it's throwing a lot at you really quickly, and with a subject that you're not aware of.
Yeah.
So it's hard to keep up with.
Question from the YouTube chat: Why do you think Warren Ellis can't sustain a book? Is it just because it always kind of feels incomplete?
It could do with the art too and the production schedules, and he has a lot of books going at the same time usually. But it does feel like a lot of books get quite a ways in and then they just stop. And I often sit there and wonder, like, oh yeah, how long has it been? Then I'll look it up and be like, oh shit, there hasn't been an issue in 2 years.
That's wild. Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, stuff comes up in production with artists, and if they're co-creators and they've got other books to do and things have to be put on hold. One of my favorite books of all time, we'll never finish, which was The Nowhere Men, which is a book that came out in like 2012 maybe, 2013. That was really great. But the editor of Image put the book out, and then he was like, well, shit, I don't have time to finish this book. So that happens a lot, where really high concept books come out, and then you never get to see the story finished. I think with a lot of newer books, too, they get optioned for TV, and then they stop being comic books, and then you hear about those rights being sold for TV, also Warren Ellis with Trees, and then you hear nothing about the TV show. It'll get optioned out, you'll hear that it's optioned, and then you don't hear anything else about it for years.
Dang. Good question.
It happens. Yeah. I did not get a chance to read this yet, but I will.
I want to read this as well.
Because I'm glad that Dice Art's on it, and I think the work Dice Art did with Toyo Harada books in the past was amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to give it a read, but I haven't got a chance to read it yet. Let's just scan through here until... Tell me when you've read something.
Okay.
I do want to kind of check this out, though.
Yeah,
I do too. I didn't read Year One, Number 3 because we don't have Year 1, Number 2 in our queue.
Yeah,
two
I
before
missed that. I missed.
Which,
this is the conclusion, isn't it? It's only 3 issues.
I had a lot of issues with
yeah.
book 1
Yeah.
or with issue 1, with how Frank Miller, just some of the concepts that he has with Superman, I've kind of found always problematic, and they've kind of found their ways into the movies, and I'm like, no, why?
Yeah.
So, but I need to. I want to read 2 before I read 3 because why would I skip the whole part where he's in the Navy? I want to know kind of like what happens with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Which already was like, I probably said that and people were like, what?
Strayed number 3 is great. And when I'm looking back at the first 2 issues, I kind of can't believe how much has happened in these 3 books. They're dense.
This is the cat one?
This is the cat one. That psychically projects across space. And you've got all this political stuff going on. The cat finally finds the place it
Holy
was
crap.
supposed to find. And
damn,
there's a
that's
lot of
really
twists and
cool.
turns in this issue, and I don't want to reveal too much.
I need to pick up this book because I totally forgot to do that.
But it's good. It's good. It sets up a lot of conflict for the future in a lot of ways. There's like this issue does a great job of setting up where every other party's goals and intentions are, and how those, you can tell how all those are going to collide. So this is a really strong book. Strayed has surprised me a lot, being that I picked it up just because it was a cat in outer space on the first issue cover, and I was like,
That makes sense.
I'm into that.
okay,
That sounds like a comic book.
yeah, we'll check it out.
Yeah.
And it's been really great. It's been really great so far. Let's see.
Nice, man.
What else do we have on our list for today? Spider-Man number 2
I
of 6.
did not pick it up. I did not pick it up.
I read it.
I read it too. I'll probably read all 6.
And hate every minute of it.
But whether or not I enjoy it for a second.
For those who don't know, this is the Spider-Man run that J.J. Abrams is writing for Marvel.
With his son, yeah.
Henry Abrams. And one of my favorite Spider-Man artists,
Sarah Pacelli.
Sarah Pacelli.
Yeah.
I will say she felt a little tighter on this issue, art-wise. Issue 1, I did not feel like she was... Like, maybe it was a production schedule thing, but I felt like her art was tighter and more Sarah Pacelli on this one. Even some of these opening
God,
shots.
this villain looks so
Cadaver.
Abrams.
I am
Like,
not interested in this villain at
No,
all.
no way.
At all. Or this storyline.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I hate to say this, it feels kind of like, and I was someone who went into it kind of being excited and not really, like, my knowledge on Spider-Man from the comic books is pretty limited. I didn't really read it a lot growing up. So for me, it was like, oh, cool, Ben Parker becomes the new Spider-Man. That's pretty fun. And I read the first issue and I was like, okay, this is an interesting setup. And then I got to issue 2 and I'm like, it's kind of boring.
Yup.
Like nothing that I haven't seen before in a Spider-Man book, which you talked about was the case in the issue 1. But now in this, it's like, okay, I'm basically just watching Peter Parker be Spider-Man, more or less. Like, Ben is not an interesting enough character for me to be...
We don't know who he is.
No.
Yeah. We don't know. I don't know anything about him, so I'm like not invested in him as a character. And he just like burns the Spider-Man suit, and his great aunt or Aunt May just goes, "Your father had more than one." And he puts on another one. I'm like, well, there should have. I feel like there should have been more of a conflict, and more.
But this
of
is just to set up the fact that his crush shows up
Right.
in a superhero suit, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so now is it like is it
Weird.
just going to be common knowledge that Peter Parker once was Spider-Man and Ben Parker is Spider-Man? So there's no secret identities or any of that sort of stuff, and it's like they're really trying to use the death of Mary Jane.
For a moment when she showed up right here, I was like, oh, is this going to be like a Venture Brothers book? Because maybe I'll get into this.
But it's like, I don't know, the whole thing of like his conflicting relationship with his father and him not thinking that his father cares enough and all, I don't know. It's just like, it's so many. I kind of just would have preferred if he knew that his dad was Spider-Man.
Lucas would get a kick out of this. And I rolled my eyes so much. He had to put Greg Grunberg in the comic.
Wait, what do you mean?
You know Greg Grunberg
Yeah,
is
yeah.
in every Abrams movie.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Wait
Did
for
I just
it.
totally not notice him?
Wait for it.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yup, that is for sure Greg Grunberg.
Yup.
Okay.
They're friends.
Me turning the pages and I'm cueing eye roll and 3, 2. Oh. God damn it.
Yeah.
Like there's certain
put
things
that
that
together.
are
Yeah.
Abrams and I'm like, I don't need in comics, man.
Yeah.
Like-
I don't need Greg Grunberg in this. He's already going to be in Star Wars. Yeah, I didn't even put that together.
to the point it's like you usually don't have side characters like this that provide nothing
Right.
getting a moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're going to contribute to the story, and that's what made me roll my eyes. I'm
Yeah.
like, there's this to even like make sure that the face was properly rendered right here.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like this. It feels like one of those team up books. You know, like Obama with Spider-Man. You know, like it's
Sure.
like this feels so forced right here for a comic book page. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, this moment didn't really like add to anything. It was just like, yeah, I don't know. It was just literally just to lure
man.
Peter Parker and say it's to fight these like alien-looking beings.
I'm pretty glad I didn't pick it up, man.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
like
don't know.
I liked issue 1.
It's Spider-Man fan fiction.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just fan fiction.
Yeah, it's like I liked issue 1 more, not having a lot of the context of other stuff. But then going to issue 2, I was like, this is like not really doing anything for me.
Yeah.
Like I got to the end, and I was like, all right, cool, next issue, I guess. Like there was nothing that like, oh, you've been loving this, haven't you?
Oh,
Something
Is this the
happened to
horror
it.
one where?
I think I read the first
What's
issue.
that?
Didn't
You
I?
did read the first one. Something is Killing the Children. Number 2 is great.
I gotta read this.
The first one, I was like, okay, I can see this is going to really cool places, and it threw me for a big spin whenever they introduced this female character.
Oh right, that's what this is.
Yeah,
Yep,
the
yep,
monsters
yep.
killing the kids and
Yep,
all this
yep,
stuff, and
yep.
then all of a sudden there's this woman that shows up that's like a monster hunter, and you're
Yeah,
like, what the fuck
we were a
is
little
this book?
apprehensive. We were like, is this gonna work?
But issue 2, I'm like fully on board.
Cool.
It's great. It sets up the older brother of one of the missing children, and there's just a lot of good world building in this one, and
Yeah.
focusing less on the monster and the horror and more on just setting up the world. And I dig it. I thought it was really great. I think this one sold me for the series. And
I'm gonna give this one a shot too.
Something is Killing the Children.
And it's,
Worth
it's
your
James
read.
Tynion.
Yep, James Tynion. Yep.
I like his stuff, man.
And there's definitely like allusions to a much larger organization and some other stuff going on, and there's a pretty big reveal at the end of this that I won't spoil. So you should definitely
snap.
check it out. I
Cool.
think it's
Yeah, I
worth
love
the-
issue
worth the
1. I
read.
definitely want to read this one.
What's it about? Something's killing the children.
Hashtag read the book.
I mean, it's in the title.
Yeah.
That's pretty much like what you need to know going into it is the title. I think that's a great way to look at it. I didn't get a chance to read Psylords number 5. I know that this is kicking off a new storyline after
Yeah.
concluding the last one. I'll get to it.
Yeah, I haven't
I
either.
haven't-
I'm 2 issues behind now on Psylords. I need to catch up.
I've been reading Valiant in a minute, man.
Yeah. I will say Once and Future is one of the best books on the stand right
Oh,
now.
nice.
This issue, again, continuing, just every one of these is knocking it out of the park.
I love this. I love the art, dude. We talked about that a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the art's so good.
Dan Mora, again, his art is now Power Rangers, and Power Rangers is his art. It's
Yeah.
in everything. But this book, like, such a great take on the King Arthur story, and it's the art has so much expression, and it's great. It's easy to follow with your eye, and the characters in this are awesome. The woman that he's on a date with in issue 1 comes back in issue 3, and it's good. Everything about it is great.
Yeah.
The color, the lettering, the art, the story, all of it, awesome, awesome, awesome. This book is really good, really great. And Grandma's always pulling guns on people,
Abuelita.
always holding everybody at gunpoint. It's really great. But it's just solid storytelling all around,
Yeah.
and I don't really think you can go wrong with this book.
Yeah, man.
Put it on your list.
Uh,
All right, next up, what else we got from this week? Anyone check out Metal Men #1?
I did not.
I didn't get a chance to read very much DC, which kind of sucks because that's like my bread and
That's
butter.
usually your bread and butter, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
What about no Justice League either?
I didn't pick up Justice League.
So it looks like you read Journey to Star Wars, though.
I did.
That was
The
number
Rise
2.
of Skywalker, that's the
Yeah.
second one.
The second one.
I did get a chance to read Guardians of
read
the Galaxy.
Guardians,
I
yeah.
thought this one was fun.
I thought it was fun too, man. Seeing there's just
I liked it more than the last issue,
I really
yeah.
like what they did with Rocket, where he, Rocket's kind of like, the cavalry going
He's
to save his
dying.
friends. And he is dying, and what he gets put into, and he shows up, and I'm like, oh dang!
Yeah.
Like that was really cool to see Rocket in like this. I don't want to say it.
Like
You'll see.
Yeah, I didn't like the last issue or even the one before it that
Yeah.
much, but this one brought kind of the fun back, and the cavalry came back
Yeah,
together.
exactly.
And it's fun. It's good.
I can hear I can literally hear Bradley Cooper now whenever I read it. So he's like, well, you're gonna let's come on board. You're gonna give our friends back, or else it's like would rather die. I was hoping you'd say that, like that kind of stuff. I'm into that, dude.
Is that your Bradley Cooper impression?
Yeah, that's my Bradley Cooper.
Is it Jason Statham as Bradley Cooper as Rocky Raccoon?
You're gonna want to go to Mamma Mia's Pizza on 6th and University. It's the best in the Bronx. I don't know what that is, dude, but that's my Bradley Coops. Doing a Rocket.
Okay. We'll go with that. B Coops. Okay.
Oh no. Gideon Falls number 17. Pick it up.
Yeah.
Do it. It's so good. It's great horror. Things are really kicking off now. I will say that this book lingers a lot. It stalls. We're 17 issues in, and not much has happened.
Oh, really?
But this issue does start to pick things up and make some pretty big movements forward. And the timelines are crossing, and the barn is being put back together. And yeah, if you like horror, you like weird spooky stuff, check it out.
What about that?
Did you check out Flash Forward?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did,
What
yes.
you got?
Dude, I loved issue 1.
Yeah, man.
I really love this, like, bringing Wally West back and, like, tearing the multiverse apart.
To me, because I didn't read Heroes in Crisis. I read the first 2 issues.
I didn't
and do
either.
it. I need to do it because part of me when I'm reading it is like, I love taking Wally West and having him be the savior of like the multiverse kind of a thing. And I don't like how it felt like the Heroes in Crisis, he committed these crimes because of his power. That's what I'm getting from the subtext
for
of
sure.
this, you know.
I mean, that's why he was in the prison in the last issue.
Exactly, but it's like, I don't know. It's like they did that.
Unintentional crimes.
They did that,
Yeah.
and then just to have him like, this is gonna redeem him like immediately. You know what I'm
Sure,
saying? Like, it felt like
sure.
we didn't live in that or anything. It just feels really quick. If I didn't read Heroes in Crisis, but from the context of considering that run just finished, it's like, oh, now he's going on this journey to feel redemption.
Yeah.
But in terms of the redemption journey, it's a lot of fun. This issue in particular, he jumps to different multiverses, collecting like black matter from this rod that he was given. And in one of the multiverses that he lands in is like a Marvel like parody verse. Like I think we can pull it up.
Jesus.
A Marvel parody verse.
Yeah, there's like someone who looks like Captain America and Spider-Man and stuff. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Marvel does that with Squadron Supreme.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like a little bit further. I love seeing.
So this is Superman from Earth 23, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, like all this, like if you go.
That's
it's
like the
like
X-Men.
Jean Grey and Cyclops, basically, and
That's
there's even like
hilarious.
someone who's like the Hulk and stuff. And I thought that was really, really fun. So I'm into this. I dig it. I think it's a lot of fun. Man, check it out. And I love Wally West. I want more Wally West.
Same.
So, yeah.
And and I think it's cool to have a character. Not that it's uncommon, but it's cool to have a character that very specifically has a mission through the multiverse.
Yeah.
And they have to go through and explore and find certain things, and they meet different versions of the characters that we know and love from our universe.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a lot of fun. And again, it's just about interconnecting everything together. And DC they've always kind of been about the multiverse, but it's something that I enjoy personally.
Yeah, me too. So that was a lot of fun. I dug it. Check it out. It's only say 5 issues, 6 issues. It's a miniseries. So.
Yeah.
Excellent 6 drop. This is the end of Volume 1. You can tell that it's kind of the end of this storyline. I really love this book. I've been promoting it on this show a lot.
Every time, yeah.
I will say, it feels like this show would work better as TV. Or this comic would work better as TV.
yeah.
Sorry. The character, you almost need a map for how the characters are feeling at any given moment. The emotional beats are hard to follow. There's so many different viewpoints of how one character feels about another character, and at any given moment how they feel different.
Yeah.
So it can be a little hard to follow at times, to be like, how are these characters communicating right now?
Yeah.
And it does feel like at the end of this book they're trying to resolve a little bit of that to move into the next volume, to resolve some of the character relationships that are going down in this issue. But it's still a really strong book with a really unique concept that has a lot to do with, you know, the overall view of where young black men are in society. And I think one of the most interesting things is you really realize at the end of this one, it's like, oh, yeah, the writer is the son of a preacher. And you can really feel the way that the character has a relationship with his father and how he's trying to tell his father how things need to change and how they're being held down by that system.
Yeah.
You can hear a lot of the echoes in there. And it's
Volume
really
1
good.
should be out soon then, because you know, it's Image and Volume. Like, I haven't read it yet, so Volume 1 should be coming out, or should be out. You know, first 5 issues. So, hey man.
I did get a chance to read Captain America number 15. More of the same. It's, you know, it's strong. It's, you know, it's okay. Nothing like crazy in this issue. Nothing like it's just an average issue of Captain America. I actually really want to check out Batman number 81.
I read that one.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I dig it. It's we're coming close to the end. I think there's only 4 issues left of his run because he was going to do 100 issues and now he's only doing 15 less. So I think there's only 4 issues left. But we're saying that in this one, of course, Batman came back with Selina, and their plan is unfolding, and everything has been a part of their plan basically. But there's something in here that trips up their plan that they didn't quite see happening. Bruce and Selina don't know of it yet, but Damian is a part of that plan and stuff happens that doesn't go the way they want. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out in the later issues. But I'm excited to see this run come to a conclusion.
Have you read the entire run?
I've read all of Tom King's run.
Really?
Yeah, I read all of it. Yeah.
And what have you thought overall?
Overall, I dig it. I like playing with the whole arc is literally Batman loves Catwoman, but Catwoman loves Batman. And just I like seeing that emotional aspect of it. I like the issues when they were just away, living in Europe or whatever they were, we can just do this, we can just stay here. Part of for me, I find sometimes Batman just becomes more of a force of nature rather than a character sometimes, and I like seeing him a little more vulnerable
As a character, yeah.
Yeah. So I dig it. I'm into it. Yeah.
I think the final book we're going to talk about this week is Absolute Carnage #4. I still think this run's pretty strong. It's the strongest Carnage run maybe ever.
Okay.
Because it feels actually consequential and there's a bigger overall story going on instead of just Carnage is crazy and infecting people and killing people. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Have you been keeping up with this one?
I haven't read it at all, and I was about to pick up all 4 today, but they were all $5, and I was like, I can wait.
The art's really strong. We get Hulk Venom in this.
Oh, dang!
And because it's Al Ewing's Hulk.
Yeah.
I went back. I wasn't a part of the show last week with you and Malika.
Right.
I went back and read last week's Absolute Carnage Hulk tie-in. It's strong.
Oh,
That
really?
tie-in is really, really good. And it sets up right before this moment where he's punching Carnage. It kind of ends right when that's happening, when he lets the Venom take over. Al Ewing's run of Hulk is really good. It's horror Hulk.
I could get into that.
It's interesting.
I usually don't read Hulk comics. You know? I find them they don't interest me.
Sure.
So that would be a way to get me into it.
And it's basically as a primer to everything going on in that run, read the tie-in.
Okay.
The tie-in for Absolute Carnage kind of gives you a rehash of everything that's gone on so far and what position Bruce is in and how him and Hulk's relationship is right now and how it's working. And it'll probably make you go, what the fuck?
That sounds awesome.
Because he's not always Bruce. Sometimes he's Joe Fixit.
Right.
Sometimes he's different versions of Hulk, like Gray Hulk or Green Hulk, and they're kind of I'll set it up by giving you this little brief thing.
Okay.
Betty is she's a Hulk, his wife, and she's this weird bird-like creature Hulk with fangs and everything, and they have to cross a state line or whatever like that, and they don't have much time. They have to get to General Ross before to see if he's alive or dead or if he can wake back up, come back to life, whatever. They have to get to his body. Hey!
Huck,
No.
what are you doing?
Come here, Huck.
Now he's in trouble. That boy's in trouble.
That boy is in big trouble.
Big trouble now.
Yeah. That there is a dead
Gotta remember
man
on
walk.
Wednesdays, he can't be up here. He does this every week. So they have to get across country really quick, and I think to set the scene for you of how weird this run is, he's like, well, I know what you have to do. You can't get there in time. I'm too much dead weight, so you could smash me up really small.
What?
And she kills him and smashes Bruce up really small. Because when night falls, he's going to turn into the Hulk. So it doesn't matter that he's dead. So he'll just kind of reborn
Yo, that's freaking
as the
trippy.
Hulk. So, he'll die, but he'll be reborn at nightfall as the Hulk.
What the heck?
So he's just go ahead and kill me and crumble my body up in a transportable way. Just
That's dark.
what?
That is dark.
It's
man.
super dark. It's
Dang.
super dark. But anyway, that ties right into this run of Absolute Carnage. And it's good. We get to see Eddie becoming a hero and trying to be a hero while Spider-Man's holding off and Hulk's trying to hold off. And Carnage gets into Hulk's brain. And the whole point of this whole thing is Carnage is trying to take the codexes, is what they're calling them. Any person in the Marvel run that has worn a symbiote has a little piece of it left in their DNA. Carnage is trying to collect all of them to build this beacon to send a signal to the planet that is holding Null as a prisoner, the god of all the Venom symbiotes, which is basically the way they describe him as the first Satan of the cosmic universe, because he was there before humanity even,
Yeah.
He was the first devil of the cosmic universe, which is the villain of Silver Surfer Black too.
Null
And
is?
it all
Oh, I
ties
didn't
in.
know that.
It all ties in together.
That's
so
awesome.
he's trying to basically free Null from his prison, and to do that he needs to collect all the codexes.
Yeah.
So all of the that's kind of the setup, and everyone's trying to survive that and everything. But every time he collects a codex, he kind of absorbs their memories and power and everything. So by absorbing the Hulk's codex, now Carnage is even more crazy powerful, all that good stuff. But it's good. It's got a lot of good moments in it.
sounds like a lot
It's a
of
fun
fun.
event book. It's not stupid dark like Carnage stuff usually is in the past, where it's just being dark to be dark. It's kind of there's an overall story here that's being told that's important to the overall Marvel universe, and the way they've all tied that in.
I'm just gonna bite the bullet. I'm just gonna buy them.
To tie it all back together, it even
Yeah.
ties into the God Butcher.
Right. That's where it
Because
started.
that's where he got his power from, was Null. The Black Blade is Null's blade.
That's
So
sick.
they've been tying all this together in the cosmic stuff. So it's
That's
I-
10 years of stuff
it
they've been
is,
building up to.
and I honestly feel like it's the best thing they've done with Venom is to kind of
Yeah.
rework his backstory, where it's not just a random symbiote from space,
Yeah.
and it's not the space cops that they did for a little bit with Bendis' run of Guardians. It's
Yeah.
an actual there's this god Null, and he was the original dark energy of the universe, and it sets up in Silver Surfer Black really well. Silver Surfer Black sets all that up in a really cool way, and you can kind of see Null's position in the universe as this dark energy who, was, a villain even to Galactus and everything. It's great.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yep. Shadow asks if I want to get into this Carnage event, how do I start? Just pick up Absolute Carnage #1.
There's only 4 issues
There's only
out,
4.
And there's 5 total, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna wrap up.
It's going to wrap up soon, and you can kind of see how it's going to wrap up at the end by,
Oh, yep.
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So Eddie, didn't have his symbiote anymore, but Ultimate Universe Reed Richards he developed a machine to suck the codexes out, but instead of destroying them, he had been storing them for himself, obviously. But Eddie finds it and he breaks it open and he takes all of the codexes in on himself. So now he has the memories of Captain America and Wolverine and Spider. It's like
Yo,
the Moon.
that's sick.
It's like the Moon Knight thing where he's got all of
Yeah.
them inside of him, kind of thing, But
Did you guys get a chance to, or do we have any more comics?
no,
Okay. Did you guys get a chance to read Carpenter's Joker?
I did.
I didn't.
What
I
did,
read
you,
that.
what did you think of it?
I didn't mind it. I liked it. I think I liked it more than the movie. It felt Joker. It felt like Joker. It's just this poor unfortunate dude who teams up with him and they dress up as Batman and Robin, do dumb things. It was that's all it was.
Yeah.
I was expecting kind of more horror. I don't know why I shouldn't.
Carpenter.
It's
Sure,
Carpenter.
sure.
But
I
I
guess-
would have liked that personally.
The big thing that when I talked about with Malika last week was it kind of does a little bit of a similar thing to the movie where it's showing you sort of the influence that a character like Joker can have and how he can really brainwash someone in a very unhealthy way.
Yeah.
And to me, having watched Joker and then having read that comic book, I was like, man, this kind of felt like a better take than the movie.
Yeah.
That's not hard.
I know, but so yeah, it was interesting, but yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. Yeah, I'm not. It's just so gruesome. I don't know.
The book?
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty gruesome.
yeah.
It
This
has
poor
moments.
dude.
Yeah,
This poor dude, and then he gets the shit beat out.
I know.
God, this guy's like bludgeoned, you know.
I know.
I'm
It's,
like,
it's pretty wild.
I read that on the subway to work, dude, on the train.
How did the rest of your day go?
It was cool. You know? I read it listening to Halloween too, so.
Really? You went
Yeah.
that route?
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Preston Bryan is saying, do you guys recommend the Silver Surfer book? How many issues is it?
Yes.
The slot run? Is it slot?
No. Silver Surfer Black. It's,
Yeah, Silver Surfer Black.
and, oh my God. One of the best books Marvel's putting out right now. You can't go wrong with that book. It's Trad Moore's art is. It's wild that a major publisher is putting that book out because it's a trip.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fucking trip. It's unreal. It's only 4 or 5 issues in. I think it's only a 6-issue run, maybe. I'm trying to remember, but it's really great. You should check it out. It's nuts.
Did you guys read? Are you reading Batman Universe?
No.
It's Bendis' run like mini series on Batman, where he's trying to stop Vandal Savage. You know, he's jumping through time and stuff. It's a lot of fun. I think it's like really fun. The last issue was he went to the Old West and with Jonah Hex and Hal Jordan was with him and like
What?
It was really fun.
Interesting.
It just feels lighthearted and a good time. So I'm really enjoying that for sure. I'm also enjoying. I don't know if you guys are reading Go-Go Power Rangers. I like that run a lot. This one last issue focused on Bulk and Skull. Like they're trying to do their like Power Rangers TV show and they want to get close to the action and stuff. And
What?
There's
That's
a competing group that's doing
Yeah.
it like better or whatever. But they're about to get this cool shot and it's like and then people were in trouble. So Skull's like we gotta help. Like we can't. What would the Power Rangers do? And Bulk's like, put the shot. But then they sacrificed the shot to do that and like Bulk's all sad and Ernie was like, I heard some guys help some people. You know, here's a milkshake on the house. I call it the Bulkmeister or something like that. Or it's those Bulk's guts. I call it Bulk's guts. Anyways, it's very cute. It was very cute. It was very sweet. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much. Thanks for putting up with all the tech issues today. Dear Jesus. Oh, what a day. Thank you all so much for talking comic books with us today. Thank you for hanging out.
Yeah.
You need to go over to Twitch, though. We're going to have to go offline and then back online because we had some issues with the computer downstairs. So we're going to be going offline right now. Stick around. Your stream's not broken. We'll be going back online in just a moment. Rat Queens is in its final arc, and you don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
I think there's only two episodes left.
This one and next week, yeah.
Holy shit. Penultimate episode of Rat Queen tonight. Make sure you go in there, give them some support. It's a crazy storyline that's finishing this thing out. So check it out. Even if you haven't watched Rat Queens, now's a great time to jump in and see why it's special. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Matt, for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Thank you guys.
And read comics and tweet at us.
Yeah.